Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like like you've mentioned this before, like in regards to public domain, how kind of it's kind of insane that in an age where most of these characters should have become just a public domain, that they're still basically part of their own little cottage industries. Then they're kept within their narrow focused genres. There's just a shutting down of possibilities in so many different culture industry outlets. I mean, we were talking about painting, Dan. I feel like one of the worst elements of the abstract expressionists isn't their tendency to be abstract, but their tendency so much to just define everything to a logo-like frontal style, and then to repeat that style on and on. There's an abstract artist who died a couple of years ago from England called Alan Davey, who I think actually is a good abstract artist because he uses the opportunity of abstraction to go like, what can I cram onto a canvas, and then force that stuff to work together. The abstract expressionists take it too literally. They want it all to be about, like you were saying, scale, surface. They want this kind of materialism, and it's just, it feels...
They want to force you to imbue. They don't want to do any of the hard work. You know, there's this, some people claim that it's apocryphal, some don't. I know that there have been people who have mixed up elephant splatterings for Pollock stuff. Certainly there have been other artists that have painted monochromes like Rothko. But what does that really say? If the only thing you're giving me is basically a blank slate, that's not much. I'll give you a real funny story. There, in the mid-'90s, in 1998, 1999, I just met Jessica. We went to the Walker Art Museum in Minneapolis, and they had an exhibition of art by Yoko Ono.
Yeah.
And so I went there and I saw this woman who still does run a cabaret show there. She's a very lovely woman. And there was the apple with the bite taken out of it. And there was an 8x11.5 piece of paper with a dot on the center. And I looked at it and I saw this woman. I said, a dot. Really brilliant. The woman goes to me, oh, she was so far ahead of her time. I said, well, I was being sarcastic.
In one respect, maybe she was. But I feel like it can come back to literature in a way, Dan. The mistake of the abstract expression, I don't believe that they were frauds, but I think they were they were really off the line. They felt that strengthening their work was about reducing it and refining it down to this kind of this kind of absolute distilled thing. And that happens in a lot of playwriting and a lot of literature too now, I think, where people feel like they have to, it's almost a modernist cliche, which has turned into a kind of a parody now, where like, refine everything down to its most strong core, and then you'll have what's really you. And now everyone thinks, well, I'll distribute back to my identity. That's what's there now.
Have you ever read Thomas Pynchon? Have you ever read any of his stuff?
No, I've never finished
Pynchon. Well, it goes back to Finnegan's Wake, and then you get people in the '60s like Pynchon, who started in the late '60s, and then you get to David Foster Wallace-Drake, and then others. The thing is, art, you have to exhibit a certain amount of skill.
Yeah.
Monochromes don't exhibit any skill. Drip painting.
No decisions. There's no decisions. I think that's the important thing. Maybe there's like a deftness of the brush, but they're shutting down the opportunities for them to make decisions. Where it's like, I know what I'll paint today. Squares. I know what I'll paint today. Splatters. I know what I'll paint today. Just more limp stuff. I mean, it's no like,
Have you ever seen the film Repulsion by Roman Polanski?
Oh yeah, with Brigitte Bardot.
Not Brigitte Bardot, Catherine Deneuve. My
mistake. French Babes.
You know, at the end, I'm going to give away the ending. So if you don't want to hear about how the movie ends, spoil this a couple of minutes. It ends with Catherine Deneuve's character being a multiple murderer, and the last thing we see is a photograph of a family, and the camera iris is in. It's in just like the pale blue dot. It's in a ray of sunlight. And it focuses in onto the little girl there who's looking away, different than the rest of the family. And then it focuses in on her body, and then on her face, and then on her eye, to total blankness. Now, run that backwards. Now you've got total blackness. Then you've got an iris of an eye. Then you've got an eye. And then you've got a little girl's face. And then you've got her body. And then you've got and then you know the backstory. Well, what abstract expressionism and a lot of art does is they only want to give you the black. They only want to give you the iris at most. They don't want to give the whole picture. Now, you can do that here or there. And if, for example, Jackson Pollock had done a series of half a dozen or a dozen drip paintings and had moved beyond that, then you could say, well, maybe there is something here. But when you look and you have however many hundreds of paintings he might have done, it's like, well, what's the point? Imagine if I did a Norwegian in the family, and then I spent another 2 years and did an Afghani in the family, and then I did another one, a Chilean in the family, and an Icelander in the family, and
Norwegian too.
Yeah, I mean, why would I repeat myself? That again, there's so little time in life